because I do want this to be a little bit more interactive. So with that said, Coach, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and then we'll get started here. And the three of us will just close out our video feed, because I think it takes up a lot of space on the bandwidth.
Gotcha. Well, first of all, Kurt, thanks for setting this up, and all you officials. We really appreciate what you guys do. I know you don't have the easiest job at times, but without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. So anything we can do to help you all out, we're all for it. So I do appreciate you guys. But my name is Danny Filleman. I'm the head football coach at Regis Jesuit High School. This is coming up will be my 24th year as a high school football coach, and 15th as a head coach, and 5 here at Regis Jesuit. So, Kurt contacted me about talking to you guys about RPOs. We're a pretty big RPO team, and maybe just get a better understanding, answer your questions. I really want this to really be more driven by you all and your questions than me just sitting up here talking. So I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything that, answer any questions you have about, our RPO system. We run a few different types of RPOs. Some are kind of standard RPO that people do. Some have some of our RPOs we've learned over the years to ways we slow down the linemen a little bit. But I'll go through what we're looking at, what our quarterback's looking at, just maybe give you a better understanding about RPOs in general, and so you guys get a better understanding and make it a better game. So so whatever you guys want to know, let me know, and I will go through it. So I do have my handy whiteboard in front of me too, so I can draw stuff up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Coach, thank you. I should have pointed out that I did reach out to Coach Filleman, and it was primarily because we were putting together some video from a game, and it included their drone footage, and it was showing the RPO, and really the idea of taking a look at the read pass option offense came about. Terrence Miles and Mark Ussery and I were talking last fall, and it made me realize that, yes, it is the RPO offense as an umpire that causes me some trouble in reading pass, and it just kind of puts me in an awkward position. And so finding that video and saying, man, that drone footage is perfect for this conversation. And Coach Filleman offered to come in and share some details. We'll see where this goes. Hope you find it beneficial. A reminder, I've unmuted everybody, I believe. And if you could raise your hand to talk, and if you don't want to talk, make sure you pull your hand down. So Tom, you have your hand up. Let's see, is everybody's hand down? Penny, when somebody raises their hand, are you able to unmute them? Fitz has got his hand up. Can you? Actually, I think it's maybe Penny, you would just, I think Fitz can speak himself, so I don't think we have to do anything to let somebody talk. I think everybody's unmuted.
Okay.
Fitz, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
All right. Hi, guys.
Is that just a test?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Okay, put your hands down if you don't want to speak through this. So, Penny, I'm going to have you turn off your video feed, and so you, Coach, same thing. If you could shut your camera. Let me see if I could do it for you, just to minimize the bandwidth. And then we can turn it back on if we need some chalkboard work.
All right, I'm trying to. Is that just stop video?
Yeah, I think that's stop video.
There we go.
Okay, so Coach, you've given us a playlist of about 8 plays, and I will have you tell me what you want me to do with it via huddle. So I've got the forward, backwards, and slow down controls. So I'm going to have you, if you want me to start play 1 or any particular play to talk through it.
So right here, just go ahead and play this play. And this is pretty standard RPO where we're given basically run up front. And then obviously we pull and throw it. So the run pass option here. So go ahead and pause it right here. So we kind of divide this play up. Our linemen, they don't know if it's run or pass. Our receivers don't know if it's run or pass, and neither does our running back. The only guy that determines this is our quarterback. And what our quarterback is reading, and I'll go through the quarterback read first. He's actually reading the will linebacker. So he is just to the left of the official. So as we're looking, yeah, that guy right there, he's reading him. He's reading his first steps. So go ahead and play it. And if you watch him, he's going to come up for the run. and then stop right there. See how you came up?
Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry.
right.
Let me.
So he's watching his first steps, and as soon as he comes right here, he knows he's throwing the ball, because if you see there's a void right where he left. All right, so that's the premise of it, is reading the in this case it's the we would call him the will linebacker. All right, so that's the space we're trying to attack, wherever that void is. So if he stays there, so his first move is flat-footed and stays or drops, then we're going to hand the ball off. So we're reading right now. He knows he's pulling and throwing.
So, Coach, if he is flat-footed and stays, you're handing it off to the back, and he's going to that same hole.
Nope, he's pushing play side. So to us, this would be pin left. So he's actually going to run left side, but we're throwing right side. Our offensive right side.
So I know this was a comment that Terrence Miles was talking about, that in some of the details he has heard over the years. Is it safe to say that if you're going to run this ball, this back will always run it to that side, the left side of your offense, in this RPO situation?
Yeah, unless I mean so explain what the running back's doing. His eyes is actually still on that linebacker as well. So his job, if he doesn't get the ball, he actually blocks our read key in this. So his eyes goes to that running back. So sometimes we'll see, that linebacker. So sometimes we'll see the linebacker fast flow over top. So if he flew over top to his right, then he would cut back. But he is pressing the left side of this.
So your back is reading the same guy.
Our back has eyes on the same guy, because if he, shot the gap right there, he would pick him up.
Okay.
And then we have on our for receivers wise, so RPO really it only works for quick game. You got to get the ball out of your hands quick. So what you'll see, you don't see many deep shots in this RPO, because we want to make sure that the ball is out of the hands quick. So it's, in some ways, it's like a glorified play action, because more times than not, I'd say it's 80% of the times we're going to pull the ball and throw it. All right. So do we have the back view of this play? All right. So you can kind of see what linemen are doing right here as well. So this is kind of what we call our pin pull situation. So if you go to the beginning here and just pause it, we're going to pin pull our backside guard on this. And reason we want to do that, first of all, is to slow him down. So if someone's uncovered, we like to pull him just so he doesn't get a free release. And this is something that we've seen kind of helped us throughout the year. So right now in this scheme here.
Is this your pulling guard right here?
Yeah. So he was uncovered. So he made a call that he is going to he's going to pull or wrap. So on the defensive right side, the offensive left side, they actually are they're going to slide out. And that's our fire call, because two guys outside. So they're going to attack outside here.
Is that so that if the back does get the handoff, he's going to follow that?
Yep.
That guard?
He's going to try to follow a guard up to see where guard comes up to 54.
Yep.
So that's this front is a little bit funky, where we actually, if you look at 85 on the left, the D end on the left, this is that 3-4. He's actually totally unblocked. And that is why we tell our quarterback, you got to get the ball out, quick. You're getting out now. So now some of this too is pre-snap. So pre-snap read, we tell our quarterback, count the box. How many guys do you see in the box here? To me, I see 7 guys. It almost looks, I know this is a 3-4. They've got 3 down linemen. They got 2 outside backers that are up. And then it's the 2 inside backers. So to us, our quarterback knows more times than not, this is going to be a pull and throw, just because the numbers in the box. So a lot of times we do a pre-snap read, like, hey, if this is 7-man box, you're going almost what we call flash fake, just flash it real quick just to hold a linebacker and throw it. And it turns into a little bit more like a play action. So right now, as a quarterback, we would be telling them, hey, you got a 7-man box. This is not really time to run it. We get a 5-man box. So for whatever reason, let's just say 85 and the other walk-up linebacker 55 on the right, say they were a little bit more out of the box and dropped off and we had a 5-man box, 100% no read, you run the ball because we have numbers in our favor. So a lot going on, but the premise of this really is we are going to read 36. So again, from his backside. And then he steps up, we're going to pull and throw. So you can go ahead and play that from this side here.
Then I'm going to have Penny survey the chat box and or hand raised. I'm going to ask the stupid question so that nobody feels like theirs is the stupid question. Is it assumed that? Oops, sorry. I want to get back to the. You can run other plays out of this, right? This does not dictate you're going to run the RPO, correct?
No, this is just this is our base set. We call this deuce. It's a 2x2 set where we got 4 wideouts. So we can run a regular zone read play out of this where everyone's going zone block to the left, and we'll read number 85. So if he crashes, and it just turns into a true zone read. Again,
I assume you're not scouting the umpires that if they're where they line up, that you may not have a lane to throw through. Because sometimes this ball looks like it's coming right at us real quick.
Yeah, we here's where we run into problems if we're too much in the middle. And so if you look right now, you can't even see our receivers in the picture. So we want to get them just outside. We want to spread the field horizontally. So we want to get them outside of the center line of the field. So sometimes when we do this in the middle of the field, our receivers come a little bit too far in. So just, naturally, if you look right in front of your referee by the V here.
This
one? So right in front here, he's got a natural hole right in front of him in the field. So that's where we're trying to attack because basically they got a 7-man box, and we want to get the ball to that area right there if 36 steps up.
Okay. Jeff, what do you got? You might be muted, Jeff.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of good discussion on the chat side, Kirk, and it has to do with staying to your keys. So there's a lot of good input, a lot of good information being shared, and basically you want to stay to your key is what everybody is just basic confirming here, is that don't get sidetracked. And there's still a lot of important things we need to see with the interior linemen and that action relative to center and guards. So anyway, I'll let you speak as umpire. I'll let you speak more to that than what I could share, but it's a lot of good discussion and chat going on.
So hey, this is Brian real quick. So Coach, is it fair to say when you're doing these run pass options, right, the linemen are not backing up to pass set. They're really just trying to stand the guy up and get in the way, correct?
Yeah, they're trying to and this is more of a standard one where if they're wide, like on the right side, on the defensive right side, if they're wide like that, we will zone block. So our run block will look just like this, where we're not trying to blow them off the ball. We're trying to basically run them upfield and run them lateral. So our regular run block will look like that. Now, you'll see some other clips where they're actually trying to do a little more drive block right now. But what our rule is for linemen is, take care of the down linemen and then do not go to level 2. So take care of level 1 and do not engage level 2 unless they come. So we're with young linemen. Now, if you just watch our pulling guard here, go all the way back to the beginning. So our pulling guard on, if you watch him, he's going, actually his target is 54 on the, right there. So 54 steps up. So if you start playing, see how he steps up. So then our guard will come in and engage.
Right. But even in that case, right, he's not really, your pulling guard in that case is really not going to the second level. He's just filling that gap.
He's filling that gap.
4 is coming. Is that correct?
Right.
And the reason I'm asking is because there's some chatter amongst the umpires on here, right, about what we should be looking at and how to read this, right? And so when your lineman basically stands straight up, and they're not coming to the second level, or they're not going back to pass set, right? That's a key for the umpire for what we can do. So
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's a tough one. And as far as this clip goes, this one's pretty standard, like RPO. But yeah, some of ours, and I'll show you. We'll go to a different clip where we do a little bit longer ride, and makes it a lot more difficult on you guys here. So, but we try to kind of screw with the defensive reads, if you will. And it probably hurts you guys because sometimes we'll pass set a backside of a run, just to give a pass read to the defense and, run block the play side. So there's a couple different ways that, even on a run play, we will pass set some different techniques. So this is another RPO, and this is actually this RPO is all predicated on the motion of the back here and what the defense does. So right now, our linemen are going to be blocking their zone block to the right. Okay, so they don't know anything, but all they know is they're doing their zone read block going to the right here. Okay, so if you go back to the beginning here.
You may go, okay.
Yeah, right here. So what we're going to have on the bottom here, on the far left, our receiver going on a hitch route.
Right here?
Yep, 5-yard hitch route. Okay. On the other side, our 2 receiver set, they're actually and they're basically stock blocking. All right. We're going to sit our backside running back. You'll see him go in motion. All right. So a few things going on here. So pre-snap read. So even though this is not like all right, so pause it right here. So even though this is not like a read, this is still considered a RPO, even though this is not a in-play read. So this is a pre-snap read RPO. So if he likes to hitch, he's not even going fake or anything. He's just going to turn and throw the hitch.
And that's based on the depth of the D-back?
Yeah, depth and coverage. So right now we have a too high safety situation here. So we're not going to throw a hitch unless there's basically a cover 3 situation, or if it's clearly quarters. So this guy's probably about 5 yards off. Yeah. So right now to us, that's not, throw a hitch situation. If we got a rotation where the corner was backing up, then he would just turn and throw hitch, even though we're run blocking. So quarterback's read on this one, we motion out. No one goes with him. So if you pause, right, just let him go a little bit more. Okay. So no one really widened right there. So then that means we're going to throw it out to our swing.
You got a big hole right there, don't you?
Yeah. So, and a lot of it is predicated. See, if you count their box, they still got a 7-man box. So we're just going to get it out and play a numbers game where we have 2-on-2 on the outside there. So here you go. So this is, if you watch our linemen.
This is the same play.
This is the same play. So they're running zone read here, and they're going lateral down the line. So they're taking their zone steps. They're if this one's not as bad because the ball gets out so quick, or it's thrown behind the line of scrimmage. So we don't really care if they're downfield on this particular play.
I go back to Brian's comment that, our reads as umpires, we're both these plays, I'm reading run, and which means I'm not coming forward. And the only issue is I could be maybe in a throwing lane, but yeah, we're reading run on both of these plays based on the action of the lineman.
Yeah. And that's the whole RPO is just to, so this is a different type of RPO where this is, we're not reading anyone during the snap. This is basically we read during motion, or we're just reading the box. So a loaded box, we want to get the ball out to the edge. So that's where, like against Valor here, they were playing the 7-man box. So we were trying to attack the edge here, get the ball out. Just different ways we can. But for us, and kind of like what you're seeing, we want to screw up the defensive reads as well. So apologize, we're screwing up your guys' reads. But, we're run blocking to throw the ball.
Yep.
Hey, Kurt, can I break in
Please.
here for just a moment? There's something that's really important, I think, in a message on the chat that we should share for those who may not be looking at the chat. But the wings, it's important for them to be in position to judge that forward or backward pass. And then also crossfield mechanics may be important as well as it starts to shift toward out of bounds on this side. So just be patient, the wings on the sideline, and no need to have to go downfield. Just stay at home.
I think that's a great point, and let me get Saki's. Saki wants to make a comment. If we're reading run as wings, we should be staying put the entire play. So this should put us in a great position to read forward, backward, because I don't think there's any indication that this is a pass play based on that tackle's movement. Agree?
Let me jump in. The first of all, the wing here does really excellently. As soon as that quarterback opens his hips and his shoulders, you can read a pass at that moment. If you can see that out of the corner of your eye, you shouldn't be looking at him. But when you see that running back come out, you see the quarterback open his shoulders, take a couple steps back into the backfield. That'll help you judge forward or backwards. And it also gets you out of the wash. Do you see what the line of scrimmage official did there? He took a couple steps into the backfield, puts you in position to see what you need to see, and gets you out of harm's way. Because if we have a wash of players coming over there, try not to get on the stat sheet for a tackle.
Very good. Saki.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Thanks for coming. What kind of coaching do you give your linemen, especially the ineligible linemen, for what they can and can't do? It would seem if they, in this run-pass option, that they just have to stay back all the time. Are they acutely aware of how far they can go downfield, the ineligibles by numbers, the 50 through 79 numbered people?
Yeah, we talk about it, but we've here, go to the next clip because there's a couple – and I'll show you that, we get away with it every now and then. So go to the next clip. Even keep going here.
Yeah, well, you do have a pretty good example of a lineman getting downfield.
Yeah.
Let's see what this
so
is.
What we do is where we get in trouble here is when we have an uncovered lineman. Even in this one here, if you see number 60, our left guard, he actually pulls.
Let me go to the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, this is.
Yeah, go ahead. I think go one more.
This is play 4, so we didn't have a end zone shot of 3.
No, I think if you keep going, you'll see it because that one didn't intercut for whatever reason.
Okay.
And we'll come back to this one here. So go one more play down. One more. Let's see if we can get to that.
There we go. There's the play 5.
Right. So our coaching point is we need to take care of everyone on the line of scrimmage. Everyone that has their hand in the dirt, we're making sure we're taking care of. So it started on the offensive right-hand side. 79, he's actually going to pass set on the right-hand side here, right tackle. He's actually going to pass set this guy because we want him to go wide anyways, even if this was a run play. We're going to pass set him. And then just across the board, so 78 here, he's going to take his zone steps. He's going to engage with the one technique here. Now, 75, our center actually does a pretty good job here where he sees the threat of the backer. So his job on our RPO is to basically you're going zone step to the 3 technique, and if you have a threat on line of scrimmage, then anyone stepping forward, you're going to attack. You're going to engage in that. Now we made a call on our left tackle and our left tackle and our left guard where they're going to pin pull this. So 55 is going to basically pin them, and we're going to pull 63 around. just so we create a little bit different angles right there.
Yeah,
So,
I will say this is the one as umpires we're somewhat frozen because we see that snapper
yeah. But
coming
he does a
forward.
good job. If you see how he comes off and then he just he doesn't keep going. He kind of chops his feet right there. We want to see him, he won't attack unless they engage. So he needs to work a little more lateral. Now, our quarterback action here, again, we go back to pre-snap read where you look at the box right now. We've got, let's see, we've got an 8-man box basically. So if you watch our quarterback action, he's going to really just basically flash fake. So he's just going to flash it and just throw. I mean, there's no fake whatsoever. He's just basically just holding the ball out there, maybe get a linebacker to hesitate because he sees he's got one-on-one situation on his right-hand side.
Yeah. So Kurt, can I make a quick comment?
Please.
So there, for us from officials, just a couple of things, right? We need to know. One, we're snapping the ball. I believe we are at the 4-yard line. Is that correct?
Sounds right.
So two things, right? One, the wings, your initial movement is to get to the goal line, right? Because that's the money line. That's what counts. The umpire is going to most likely be frozen, right? And so that center who is close to being downfield, for any of us to throw that, we have to be spot on, right? Because he's about 2.5 yards down the field. So, if we're going to throw in an eligible, I think it needs to be blatant, right? And the other thing is that the expanded neutral zone in high school does not go into the end zone, right? So this is, for us, a tough, if we're calling an ineligible downfield, this would be a tough get for us.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Brian. And the new rule this year, actually, they do not need to be engaged. Last year, and I believe this is quite technical, and not sure that we wanted to throw it last year, but last year the rule was such that 75 had to be engaged with somebody to get downfield this 2 yards. This year, the rule, as will come out in the fall in our master clinics, 75 does not need to be engaged to get the full 2 yards of tolerance downfield on a pass. And we should also remember, rule book says it's when the passer releases the ball. We talked about this a couple nights ago. It's not when the ball is caught. So it can look a lot worse because that ball is released about right now. And so, yeah, this is a no call, ineligible downfield. But he's also, Brian's correct. I think, when we squeeze the field down, there's less of a chance that 75 is drifting further. But we've seen centers get downfield 4 or 5 yards, and it's just too far. We got to flag those.
No, well, I have a clip that shows it, and that shows that we were. If we go the next clip here, let's see if we can. So this is kind of what we've been talking about, just with a pin pull action. Guys up front didn't really block real well there, but definitely. Our quarterback knows right away he's going to throw this ball. He's just going to flash fake because of the void that they created. So looking at their linebacker situation, they have one linebacker up and one linebacker playing like a zero Mike. So right on that RJ logo is that area that our receivers going to target. They just can't get there.
Right there.
So, that's that little hole.
Big hole. Yeah.
That he's just trying to sit down in. But go to the next play here. We'll talk.
Did you mean the end zone or the next play? This would be the next play 6.
Yeah, let's see what this is. This is, I think, the same where you just see a kind of a pin pull here. So we started doing a lot more of this because what happened is we would have some of our kids not really understand how to slow down. Now, this one's a little tougher for you as umpires because if you look at 78 and 77 on the left side, they're actually pass sending their guys.
Yeah, so we would, I think we would read pass here, but you guys are releasing the ball so quick.
Yeah,
there's not much we can do. One of the things I liked about looking at this clip is, although it is to the D lineman, this is a pass play, and he's trying to sack the quarterback. I don't like his head down right here on contact.
I was going to say the same thing, Kurt. That to me looks like he's leading with his head right into the middle of the QB.
Yeah, that's a desire to punish. I don't know if we had a flag on that or not. It's we always talk about, Coach, a tackler, a would-be tackler here, a defensive lineman. It's hard to stop your feet when you're going 100 mile an hour towards a quarterback, but you can certainly control your helmet. And then this last launch of the hands, I don't think the hands are probably a big factor in this case, but you'll see quarterback sacks where the tackler will come in and two-hand shiver the quarterback into the bleachers. That's what we should be getting at the end of a play.
Right, for sure. All right, let's.
Here, let me stop here. I want to make sure I get Jeff. You got anything on the chat line, or anybody hands up or anything? Benny, you might be muted.
No, everything's pretty much clear. It's agreeing with the potential hit on that quarterback. I mean, I think that's something we should be aware of and stay to watching that quarterback throughout. So, good point there.
Coach, one thing to talk about in your RPO arsenal, is there a quarterback keeper in that? Are they ever reading and then running with the ball?
Not in our RPO. In our regular read option, yeah.
Okay.
So in our RPO, it's a run pass option. In the regular read option, it's basically old school option where you run, keep it or go.
But that would be more of a lateral movement of the quarterback, correct? He wouldn't be staying back.
Right. He would be. He would be attacking downhill.
Is this one where we've got a lineman downfield a ways, number 60?
Yeah. So see, he should have stayed on level 1. And this is a good. There's 2 examples of what, and this is why we changed the way we coach a little bit. Because if you watch 60, he actually should be taking care of the nose. And we should have a double team on the nose until a linebacker comes off. So he took his steps. So just talking lineman wise, from the beginning here, starting on our left tackle and left guard, that we're going to leave the outside linebacker that's outside the box. We're going to leave him alone. We're not going to mess with him at all. So our left guard and left tackle are going to take care of their 2 guys. So now we go to our center and right guard. So they should be taking care of the Mike linebacker and the nose. So 60 should have stayed on. And then if the Mike linebacker that's sitting back comes, then he should have came off. He should not have had a free release. So this is one reason we went to a pin pull situation. So if you go back to the beginning, so right now our center and our right guard should stay on the nose until the Mike linebacker, the 0 Mike. That's Reed.
Right, here's Mike.
Our Mike. Those 2 are accountable for those 2 here. So he should have stayed on. So what we started doing is just calling our pin pull, where he's going to basically block down, and our guard is going to wrap around for that. Okay, he should not have free released like that. He should have stayed on because no one threatened him. Now, our read key, if you look at the running back, okay, so our read key is the linebacker that basically comes through. So our running back has eyes on him. He is on the other line. Will, there you go. So he's responsible for him. So if you watch, he blitzes. So if you look, our running back comes off immediately, and he's picking him up. If that linebacker would have dropped, we would have handed the ball off, and if you see the hole on the left-hand side, that's where our running back would be targeting.
Right through here?
Yeah. And that would have worked a lot better if we would have pin pulled our center and guard, or our center stayed on, and he would have been able to wrap around.
Gotcha.
But so we've kind of adjusted the way we do things a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier on our guys as well. Because to me, that's our 60s downfield.
Yeah, that one's illegal. Whether or not we would catch it or not, it's all part of this difficulty as umpires recognizing run versus pass early enough to.
And if you go from the beginning here, we don't make it any easier, because if you look at our right tackle, he actually pass sets his guy.
Yep.
So you're getting
mixed signals.
Yeah, and that's our point we're trying to do to defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just pass sets him.
Yep.
So we got 4 guys run block and 1 guy pass setting.
So, Coach, you can. I mean, sometimes what we'll tell the players, right, that if they know it's a pass play and they're passing us as umpires, more likely than not, they're going to be downfield illegally, right? And so, for me as an umpire, even if in this case where I wouldn't have gotten to the line of scrimmage, if I see that lineman come close to me, because I'm setting 5 to 7 yards is our mechanic, I'm going to mention to your lineman, hey, don't, if you're getting to me, you're downfield, right? Don't wander downfield.
Yeah, and what we teach them and what we tell them is you don't have a free release downfield. You don't you stay on level 1 unless level 2 engages or steps up, then you go engage. So he was quick on this one. So
yeah, you got a drifter here.
Yeah. So go to the next play. Go
8.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
You may try the end zone.
Yeah, try the end zone on this one here. So this one's a little bit tougher on our linemen because we're trying to get the ball downfield a little bit more. So this is this ball goes to number 12. The read really stays the same as far as our quarterback, though. Instead of reading backside inside backer, we're going to read play side to the right. So if you see how he flows out.
Let me see if I can get your quarterback's read. Is that this linebacker right here?
It is. He's reading the force player because usually number 12 would be blocking him on this. This is an outside zone play. So on outside zone, he's trying to reach. So we don't do a very good job up front here. So we basically ended up triple teaming the nose, which shouldn't have happened. What should have happened here is our 63, our right guard, should have been in his zone blocking. And
got up here?
He should have been working towards the D lineman on the right.
This guy.
Yeah. And not getting downfield. So 79. So how this should have looked, we shouldn't have, it looks like a quadruple team right here. So we should have had, the guy that doesn't do the right job is 63 here, our right guard. Our right guard should have been working out and down the line, like outside zone. So he kind of screwed that like whole block scheme. But everyone, if you look, everyone's working to the right except him. So when we have our outside zone RPO, if you notice how far our receiver is downfield, okay, he's further down than, most of the time where we throw our RPO. Our RPO is probably 5 to 7. He's about 10 to 15 yards now. So we achieve that because we want our linemen to work laterally down the line of scrimmage laterally. And again, this would have been fine if 63 would have worked to his right, which he should have.
Okay.
I think this is the one that was.
That's a drifter.
This was last year. This kid was a freshman last year, so he just took off.
Got this. I think he's about right in here.
But, and it's bad because it goes for a touchdown. But so watching this view here, this actually is the wrong read by the quarterback. Okay, so his read, right, is the linebacker. Yep, right in front of you, right here. So he has eyes right on this linebacker. Linebacker goes. He should have handed that off right there.
Yep. So he's reading that first step, huh?
Yeah.
Although the first step comes towards the back, so.
It's tricky, but he, so right here, if you watch our running back's path, he gives his ball, he's got a shot.
Huh.
But our left guard, he needs to stay on level 1 because no one attacked the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
So
that's your problem right there.
Yep. So this is why we went to sometimes doing a pin pull where we're going pull the uncovered. So right here, this situation, he should have been given a pull call where he would have basically pulled to his right and try to get to the Mike linebacker.
Pulled around here?
Yep.
Can I make a comment real quick, Kurt?
Please, jump in.
So for the umpires on the call, so this umpire is so wide, right, that if he's actually started in the middle of the field, if he was to the right, and I understand this is a left-handed quarterback, if he is to the right of the deepest linebacker.
Right in here?
No, the guy in the middle that's on the hash, right? I think he should be farther to his right. But if the umpire starts on that hash, you can get this particular person for downfield because he's going to pass you, and you know that you're set at 7 yards down the field, right? Some of the reasons why we can understand ineligibles that are downfield is because they pass the umpire because of where we position ourselves, and it's just something to think about. And it's my personal opinion. I believe we should never be outside the tackles, but Saki, Kirk, you guys tell me what you think, but I think he is too wide in this set.
I agree, too wide.
Yeah, I think he's too wide, but where an umpire could maybe get a little bit more on top of this is if you cognizantly say that I'm 7 yards off this play, the next play I might be 6 yards off. If you can register your distance from the line of scrimmage and retain that distance in your mind, you might have a better chance of understanding where an ineligible is drifting too far or staying back where he is proper. So there might be a need to register this a little bit. I'm kind of talking open-minded here a little bit, but this is what I'm picking up from all this that I'm watching is I need to register where I'm at from that line of scrimmage to help ascertain a drifter.
Yeah, I agree, Scott. So for me, I know, regardless of whether or not I get to the line of scrimmage for my pass responsibilities, right? I know what the line of scrimmage is. I know where we are snapping the ball from, and I know where I line up. And so I can always do the math and understand where I'm at relative to the line of scrimmage, right? And if nothing else, even if I don't throw a flag, it should give me the opportunity to talk to the lineman and say, dude, you're next to me and I'm 5 to 7 yards downfield. So you need to make sure that you're not wandering, right? Because we're trying to figure out ways not to throw flags. And so if we can help the lineman understand that, I think our game will go better, and I think it'll help coach out as well, right?
Yeah,
well,
sure.
as I line up on typical plays where Craig or Kirk drew that X, is where I would most likely stand a yard back, a yard off a linebacker, because that linebacker usually lines up in the same distance from line of scrimmage just about every play.
Right, I agree.
So this guy is wide and he is too deep. So if you let yourself play from the linebacker, we can have a better chance at catching these drifters.
I would even go as far to say that if you're able to line up at about 5 or 6 yards, I think this would put him about 5. By the time you read pass and you start moving towards the line of scrimmage, by the time that a lineman is downfield, I think, Brian, you're spot on that once you have that lineman about your depth, because you're moving towards the line of scrimmage, if that lineman is even with you or past you because you're moving one way and he's moving the other way, all of a sudden you can register out of the corner of your eye that I got somebody downfield. Obviously they have to be on the front side of you. If they're on the back side, you're going to need some help from your wing. But that's why I think the best place to be for umpires is in that 4 to 6 yards. I think 7's too many. I like the sweet spots about 5. Obviously linebackers are gonna dictate some of that. But once you get into that muscle memory of being at about 5 yards, just as Scott said, your distance to the line of scrimmage kind of plays out in a routine. You can kind of stop thinking about how far you need to get upfield. And then by the time a rolling quarterback throws the ball from the numbers, you're at the line of scrimmage. I mean, that doesn't have to happen immediately because that quarterback takes a while to roll out to become a threat to the line of scrimmage. So
now a technique that I like to use is maybe as I back into the defensive backfield, I might line up 7-8 yards back and let those backers get set and then walk up toward them so that I'm a yard back, yard to their side, which will put me at that 4 to 6 area.
Yep.
So start a little deeper, let the backers get set, and when they're set, then walk up toward them.
Yep, great point.
Kirk, this is Kerry. Can I ask, I think I heard the coach say, and we do have a flag on this. Is that correct?
No.
The flag was missed?
No,
Okay.
that's
And
a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that, I mean, one of the things, I agree with all the conversation here about the umpire. The offside wing, the line judge in this case, because it was thrown to the headline side, really doesn't have a whole lot to be looking at. He should pick that up. And I think I'm the headline for this game. I think this is a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken. But we should be able to pick that up and help the umpire as a wing.
Yep, good point. Sergio's got a hand up. Sergio, unmute yourself.
Yeah. So my question is here, since we're kind of talking about umpiring position here, I remember last year, and Kirk, you kind of brought this up. You kind of asked the coach if they might be kind of eyeing the umpire and seeing where he's at, which made me think there was a game last year where I really felt like I was being targeted, like or not targeted to hit, but at least they were trying to find me to make pick plays. So with that in mind, if you feel like a team is doing that, what do you expert umpires kind of say and maybe advise on moving from the left side to the right side, even on the same side as the R in a certain place? What do you have to say about that?
I'll let the expert Saki answer it.
Well, number one is I always try to initially locate opposite the referee where possible, but it depends on where the ball is, if it's in the middle of the field or on a hash. One technique that I try to do as I count my offensive players, I go 3, 6, 9, 11. I'm looking where those tight ends are as I'm doing the count and trying to mentally do that. I'm not counting the tight end necessarily, but I'm just making myself aware of where those tight ends are. They're the ones that are going to pick you. And sometimes you just have to let yourself play the pick. In other words, you might have to say, I know that tight end's going to be coming my way. You might slow down your advancement toward the line of scrimmage and let him pass in front of you. You know he's coming because you can see the way he's lining up, and let him pass in front of you. Don't just start rushing to the line of scrimmage because that tight end could be coming to you. You've got to be aware of the tight ends, is my point.
Yeah, and I'll let Brian step in and answer too. I think that whole depth there, your starting position, if you stay underneath 5 yards and you read pass, by the time you read, you're taking a step forward as your flow, and you get better and better as an umpire. Your flow takes you to that line of scrimmage. Many times you are on the front side of that tight end before he comes across. I know there are situations that he gets underneath you, but if you can get good at your starting position at about 5 or right off the hip of that linebacker, and you're reading pass a little sooner, and I even, when I'm training umpires in our camps, I even indicate, and Sergio, now you've been working for many years, but some of the newer umpires, I tell them to just start that false step forward, because it's easier to stop your body as an umpire than it is to go. And I know we say still eyes are better than moving eyes, but if you just kind of take that false step forward, your momentum goes towards pass unless you're reading run, and then you stop. So it's a technique. If we've got some newer umpires or umpires that are getting started at that, or officials getting started at that position, that could help you. Brian, you got an answer for the question?
I do. So a couple of things, right? As officials, we should leverage our time on the field to, when we go out for the pregame, to watch the offensive sets and what the coaches are having the offenses run. And that will help you, Sergio, right? I mean, we should be, when we go out on the field 30 minutes, or I like to be out there earlier, go stand in Regis's defensive backfield while the A team is out there, right? And they're running their plays, and get a feel for sets and routes that they're running, right? Additionally, especially with this type of offense, we need to get to the line of scrimmage. But the reason why we need to get to the line of scrimmage is to figure out whether or not there's an ineligible downfield, and sometimes we don't have time, and sometimes it's better just to stay there, right? And have confidence and belief in your fellow officials that your wings have got your back. Then lastly, what I do is if I think a receiver is actually trying to use me as a pick, I will interject some type of comment that's meant to be funny to lighten it up and say, hey, you have a route, I have a route. I'm too old for this. Don't be using me as a pick. Just to lighten it up, right? We don't want to yell at the players. We don't want to scold them or anything like that, right? But we can talk with them and say, hey, please don't hit me, right? Those are some of the things that we can do to help ourselves understand what's going to happen within the game.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up because it's just about 9:30. This last play, Wes Whiteley had it in his arsenal, and I think, Brian, you mentioned maybe we talked about this at one of our meetings last year, and this is just another Regis play where we have a drifter, and unfortunately we had contact. So I assume a flag came out on this, I would hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lineman. Oh, that's right. This is a screenplay. So it did. Oh, that's right. That's the emphasis in this play. Sorry about that. I had RPO in my mind. Yeah. So this play, we're going to see a screenplay caught right at the line of scrimmage, and our umpire. And this is not unusual that we get caught up in this traffic on a screenplay, a middle screen. But I think the emphasis here, and probably what we talked about in our area meetings, is the receiver caught the ball right at the line of scrimmage, and we don't want to be over technical on ineligibles downfield when the play's intent is to throw the ball near the line of scrimmage. This should have been a no foul, or this, if the flag came out, I think this is an incorrect call. We leave this alone. I'd say when in doubt, we don't want to flag down on a screenplay for ineligibles downfield.
Hey, Kurt, two things real quick for me. One, the line judge actually moved downfield. He's not even in the screen to rule on this correctly.
Well, my camera just went on pause, so that must be time to quit. I want to thank Coach for joining us this morning and all you guys online. We're going to wrap this up. Great stuff.
Can I ask a question before we lose our coach?
Real quick.
Coach Filleman, first of all, thank you so much for pulling back the curtain in letting us see the wizard and what he's doing. But can you talk for a second about secondary reads? Because I think the whole point of, on any level, RPO is you're going to get the ball out of your hands within a second or two, and there's no DP downfield, illegal downfield play or IDPs because it happens so fast. But in a sophisticated defense, they can take away your first read and your second read. So what is the next step? What do you tell your quarterback if he makes a read and then that throw isn't there? Or
so usually with our quick game reads, we'll have two reads, maybe three reads if we have a 3x1 set. But it's no different than our quick game where his progression and his reads is the same as quick game read. And if he goes through his progression 1, 2, 3, it's kind of that time clock in his head. Either, hey, throw it at the feet of the receiver, or you're going to tuck it and go. So when we do our quick game, anyways, we will do like our big on big set where they're going to do a quick pass set. And if he goes through his progression, it's not there, then he needs to basically get rid of the ball, or you go and tuck it and get back to the line of scrimmage. So we don't tell him to hold on to the ball because, one, we know that guys are going to get downfield, especially on RPOs. But two, we want to make sure that we're teaching his internal time clock that he's got maybe 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds to get that ball out.
Fair enough. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Coach, again, thank you. Hope the rest of you all stay safe. Enjoy your warm weekend. Tom Robinson, thank you for joining us this morning. Guys, we'll hopefully chat with you Sunday night. We got some more plays to watch, so take care.
Kurt, thank you. Good work. Okay, thanks, guys. All right.